What's up, everybody? TK here, TK and Drinks. We got another honest mead review coming at you today, and today is one from the cats there at Misbehavin Meadery there, and I believe it's pronounced Valparaiso, Illinois. I have not had anything from these guys before. I've heard lots of really good things. They're very popular on the mead trade circuit and all that jazz. This is one of their more sought after lines, or one of the more popular lines, if you will. It's called the Same Old Jam. This one's going to be raspberry, marshmallow, and coconut, toasted coconut, aged in Russian Imperial Stout barrels. So if you like what you're hearing and you like what you're seeing, go ahead, do me a favor, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe, hit that notify bell. Like this video if you could. It helps the algorithms populate my videos more often in the searches, and that really does me a favor. Helps me bring more kick-ass content to y'all. And like I said, if you're enjoying what you see, I would appreciate all that. As you can see, this one is open. I did get into that a little bit earlier, popped into it, hit up the old scorecard, but ahead of time, try to shake things up a little bit, see if we can't streamline the show a little bit more. Wanted to get a sample in and just be able to get another taste in here with you guys all, and see if we can't see a difference between this when it was poured fresh, cold, right out the fridge, a little while later after it's warmed up to room temperature, and see if we can't pick up a little different aromatics, a little different flavor profiles. This one, when I first poured it, did have some white floaty things in there, which kind of worried me at first until I got to their website online. I was looking, and I remember what I saw. It says on here, this is a dessert mead crafted with raspberry juice that we pressed, a little bit of honey, concentrated marshmallow fluff, and toasted coconut. And we add lactose in there to accentuate the marshmallow and coconut notes, as well as to add a soft mouthfeel. This version was aged in Russian Imperial Stout barrels for 8 months, inspired by Zinger's snack cakes, but tastes more like a raspberry cheesecake with a toasted coconut frosting. Now, I personally get some other little flavors in there too as well, but reading through all that, and then I read on their website, says here that they don't filter or pasteurize anything. So I saw those floaties in there, and I remembered all that stuff that I'd read, and I was looked and I poked in, and I believe that was actually chunks of marshmallow, that marshmallow fluff that was floating around in there. So we'll see if we get some more of that that comes out in this pour here. So let's get straight to that slow pour. Now, this one does not appear to have any floaties or sediment in it or anything like that, which is good to know. But those definitely looking like there was some white floaty stuff in there. I should have got a shot. We'll see if I can pick some up in the old footage here that I'm going to roll now. And so, as you can see, this one, have a little bit of trouble breaking into it, but it's a very unique flavor to it. It has this true raspberry aromatics to it. It does come off with a you can get that sourness, that tartness, that brightness that raspberry has comes through there as well, which is nice. It doesn't tell me, which is nice. It tells me that it's not a artificial raspberry. I haven't really smelled anything quite like that in an artificial raspberry yet, in like a raspberry syrup, but maybe in the concentrates I have. But this is definitely a true, was at one point a real raspberry. This is not artificial. Strong on the coconut in the mid aromatics as well. That sweetness from the marshmallow comes through, that smoky toasted coconut in there as well. And then you can pick up that stout barrel. If you ever had like a Russian Imperial Stout, it's very like full body, earthy, chocolatey, malty, and that comes through. I pick up those notes in there as well, which is very cool because it has this very unique, well-balanced aromatics. It's like you're getting this and then you're getting that, and it plays on you because you have to go back to it multiple times. I thought it was playing a trick on me because I was getting different things every time I went in there, but it's just that well developed and that well put together. It's like something new every time with the abundance of different aromatics that all those different ingredients are producing. Again, visually dark, murky, stomped raspberry juice, it's like raspberry jam almost. It's well, I mean, it's called Same Old Jam. It basically looks like a liquid version of jam if you took jam down and thinned it out. No seeds in there, but there might as well be. Actually, I don't really get a lot of tannins from the seeds, which is kind of one thing I was expecting, but I mean, it doesn't take away from it. It's just a character I was kind of surprised to not find. Lots of bright raspberry right on the beginning of the palate. Marshmallow, the coconut take over on the mid palate. Finishes with that jammy, bright raspberry, toasted coconut, that chocolatey. It almost tastes like, see, they suggested like a raspberry cheesecake. I say it's more like a, well, I guess like a raspberry cheesecake, but instead like a graham cracker crust or like a Oreo crust or something that has that like kind of chocolatey finish and notes in there, because it's definitely not just coconut and marshmallow. I mean, because it's got the vanilla-y type of marshmallow-y in there as well. I mean, you get all of it. Again, it's just like the aromatics. It's so well developed. You get all these things at different times. It is very well put together. I'm a huge fan of this. Very strong legs that we get. Definitely get a bit of an aged meniscus on there. See, it's got a little bit of coloration to it, and then super strong legs. I don't know if you can see any of those on there, but those legs are going for days. Yeah, I think we got a couple of them on there. So this is all in all pretty well developed and put together. I mean, the aromatics on it are kick-ass. The alcohol presence, that like ethyl alcohol, like you can tell it's been aged in a barrel. It's got just a hint of warming when you're drinking it as well. It doesn't come across hot, it doesn't come across fusel or anything. It's just a very pleasant, warming sensation. It lets you know that it's got some alcohol in it, but it doesn't smack you in the face and tell you that it's booze or anything like that. It seems like somebody knows what the fuck they're doing when they're putting this stuff together over there at Misbehavin Meads. The only thing I have question is the initial pour. I was expecting it to be funky and moldy and kind of skunky and crazy when I saw all that. You know, I'm going over all the different descriptors here on the scorecard, and I was expecting it to be something, you know, but it didn't. It wasn't moldy, musty, or stale. It wasn't. Didn't have that like solventy type of aromatics. Really surprised it doesn't have any moldy or anything based on those white floaties that I saw. And the cork was in good shape when I pulled that out, so you know, I'm thinking based on what I'm seeing and what I'm reading online, that was probably just unfiltered marshmallow that made it through all the way through the bottling stage and everything, which is cool with me because it definitely adds to the coolness of this product. It's crazy just because you don't see a lot of, you know, commercial meads that are willing to put out something that's so just unfiltered and unpasteurized and unclarified and everything. You know, let me get to that scorecard here real quick. But it's cool. I love it. I'm super happy with it. All in all, I'm hitting it with a 43 out of the 50 because I think it, again, 8 out of 10 of the aromatics. It's got that tart, sweet, balanced raspberry in the aromatics. It's very well developed up front. A hint of the alcohol on the back end of that. Mild coconut. When I poured it cold, it was kind of suppressed, but now that it's again warming up, the coconut and the marshmallow and the aromatics are certainly becoming much more effervescent, much more present. And you get that sweetness of the vanilla, you get a hint of that stout barrelness, that kind of chocolatey, malty sweetness in there as well. I mean, it just hits you. It comes in waves, back, forth. Very well developed, very nice complexity on that one. 8 out of 10. Probably could have even gone down to 9 out of 10 on it. So 4 out of 6 on the appearance. It's got that deep raspberry hue to it, almost opaque clarity to it. You can't see through this thing at all. It's very, very hazy. Had those white floaties on top of it there. Looks like they could have been marshmallow. I thought they were going to be mold, but it definitely didn't taste moldy, musty, didn't taste stale, didn't like it had cork rot or fail or anything like that. We're going to go with it. It's, you know, not a bad thing. Maybe a more well-developed palate could pick that up, but it tastes great. It looks great. Beyond the floaties and everything, it has that very true, looks like it says same old jam, looks like just raspberry jam in there. No carbonation beyond the pour. Like I said, not filtered, so that's probably where those floaties are coming from. 22 out of 24 on the flavor. Strong raspberry and chocolatey notes up front. Chocolate coming from that stout barrel, sweet maltiness to it, which is delicious. It has that very, almost like a chocolate raspberry truffle type of taste to it up front. They say it has more of a raspberry cheesecake type of taste, which I get that too, but I'm getting extra chocolate, like I said, raspberry with like a chocolatey Oreo type of crust or something to it. very smooth, silky mouthfeel comes from lactose that they added in there, marshmallow and developed coconut flavors through the mid palate, finishing up again with more tart and chocolatey notes on the end. It, just like the aromatics, very well balanced, plays back and forth, smooth, memorable mouthfeel, comes on strong, hangs out and lingers for 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds before it starts fading off there. The alcohol warmness comes in, washes over you, leaves you, ooh, man, that is delicious. I'm gonna need some more of that. Well balanced with the acidity and the sweetness as well. Light on the tannins, could probably have a little bit more tannin in there personally, but it is a dessert mead, so I wasn't expecting it to have a whole lot of tannins in there. But I guess to round it out even more, a little bit higher tannin presence would be certainly noticed. So overall, I give this thing a 9 out of 10, just for the complete developed complexity of the flavor and the aromatics. This thing is just something I was not expecting, especially given the unfilteredness and all the stuff that I found out prior to opening it. But I don't even know what else to say to it. It's just definitely a really unique, kick-ass drink. Anybody out there would be doing themselves a serious disservice if they saw one of these and didn't pick it up. So if you had a chance to grab anything from Misbehavin Meads, if you've had a same old jam, leave me a comment down there. I would love to know what you think. If you've ever had anything that's not a same old jam from Misbehavin, definitely leave me a comment, because I'd love to know what you think about that as well. And yeah, so thank you for joining me here on TK and Drinks today. Same old jam, honest mead review. I will see you guys all on the next review. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, notify bell, all that stuff. Peace.